Hi, if you've joined me before on Droll About Town, Cheryl Hilton Taste of New England, you'll know that usually I go to places that are fun to visit and shop and maybe find something really delicious to eat. But this time I'm inviting you into my kitchen and we're going to make some authentic Italian food that is inexpensive and quick to do. I'm not a chef. I'm not trained by anything that is remotely like a cooking school or anything like that. I have been trained by the best though. My mom and my gram have probably 120 years of combined experience. So I'm going to give you the benefit of some of their teaching and things that they have taught me over the years. Today we are making, and having said that introduction, we're actually making something that I made up. It's not from my mom or my gram, but it employs some of their techniques and things that they did. Have you seen these before? These are called sugar bombs, or I don't know, they're the little tiny, maybe grape tomatoes. My daughter-in-law actually got me started on these because I was over her house when she was unpacking groceries one time and she said, have you ever tried these? Now, I'm not a huge fan of raw tomatoes. I got about 2 tablespoons of oil that I'm putting in, olive oil. And so I tasted it and I'm like, oh, those are really good. But I don't like raw tomatoes. So I wanted to figure out a way I can use this to make a type of sauce. It's not really a sauce, but it's a little drier than a traditional sauce. So you don't peel these, you don't do anything with it, you leave them just as they are. I'm gonna start off by sauteing some onions, and I'm going to put in the tomatoes and then season it. And you're going to be with me to help me. I've also started some pasta boiling because this comes together very quickly. Italian ingenuity. You can make something out of nothing. That's what my gram and my mom were actually very famous for. They can make something delicious out of absolutely nothing, no cost ingredients, things that just come together quickly and are perfect. They're just delicious. The other thing if you don't know about Italians, is they wash everything. So everything has been washed and prepped already, but just so you know, you have to wash it, and if you're not sure, you have to wash it again because that's what Italians do. I forgot to get my method. Here we go. So I read something that the USDA suggested not washing your meat because they said you can contaminate other things. That's probably the stupidest thing I have ever heard. My mom would be appalled if she knew that's what they're saying. I'm using the cheap garlic, sauteing this a little bit in here. I like the piece. I don't like raw garlic. I don't like the taste of it much, so I don't use it much in my cooking. I use more garlic powder and also the garlic paste that you saw. I feel like it's a little gentler in flavor, and I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and add these now right away. These are just starting to really. And I'm going to put this over it just to stop it from splattering. But they're just starting. The onions are getting transparent, and I'm going to let the tomatoes just kind of cook a little bit. And they blister, so that when you get them I'll show you in a second because I don't want it to splatter. I'm going to turn that down a tiny bit too. But when you get them just to that level where they start to blister a little bit, you're going to kind of smash them a little bit. And I'm going to add garlic powder. I'm going to add parsley. I'm also going to add black pepper, a little bit of salt, and some grated Parmesan. So as I was saying, my mom would be appalled if she knew that they were suggesting you should not wash your meat. She'd probably wash hamburger if she could figure out a way to do that. My thought to USC is why wouldn't you just wash your sink after? Why do you have to worry about contaminating, cross-contaminating other food? So they're a little bit misguided. There's obviously no Italians on that committee because they would have never come up with that. Are you coming with me? Come with me. So it didn't follow me. Come with me. All right, we're back over here. All right, so I'm going to show you. I'm just going to get these coated with some oil and letting them blister a little bit, and turn that down because my onions are starting to get a little browner than I want them to be. I might have to add a tiny bit more oil too. I'm going to let that cook down a little bit. I'll add a little bit more oil. Just because you don't want this to be goopy, but you do want it to have a little bit of, liquidity so that it's going to coat your pasta. All right, so we're gonna cut, oh, there we go. Now we got it. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm kind of smashing up my tomatoes a tiny bit with my spatula, just to get them a little bit to release their juice. They're not gonna pop until they're ready, so you gotta let them get cooked a bit before they'll actually smash. All right, we're gonna keep that going. I'm gonna start adding my seasonings, okay? And you know what? Italian's another thing. We don't use a recipe, so I'm gonna show you a little bit, and I'll put it in my description. But maybe, I don't know, half teaspoon of black pepper. Biggest thing about Italian cooking is we go by eye. Sorry about that, but I will try to put in some measurements for you. I use this San Francisco coarse salt that I really like. I use about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. So not too much salt because I'm going to be adding grated cheese to this as well, and that has some sodium. All right, and garlic powder is one of my favorite seasonings. Like I said, I don't like fresh garlic. It's just not appealing to me, so. All right, and some parsley. Now, you can use fresh parsley on this. I don't really need fresh parsley, but I'm gonna use a little bit of fresh basil in here. So, and this is from my garden, so I'm just gonna cut it up a bit and add some fresh basil. If you watch my previous, you see that I ditched those herb scissors. They didn't work as well as I liked. So, there we go. I can put a little fresh parsley in there as well, just to make it, okay, just to make it look good. Now that's gonna come together. I'm gonna keep cooking that up a little bit, getting that just a little bit more smashed together. And then I'm gonna just simply add my pasta. And there is such an easy dish. If you grew the tomatoes yourself, you have something that's really, really inexpensive. Now I'll tell you a little something. Most Italians have gardens, but we used to have a huge garden before. And you know what? Something about gardens, they really can get ahead of you like quickly. So if you don't check it that day, you're kind of stuck with zucchinis sometimes the size of baseball bats. So, honestly, we had tomatoes coming out of our ears, zucchini that I used to give to my mom and my aunt. Back then, we would really go big with the garden. Now I have a little, I guess you'd call it a kitchen garden. I mean, that's really enough. I like it because I have my herbs that I grow. I have some Roma tomatoes that have not started taking off yet, but hopefully they will soon. Okay, so this has really come together very nicely already. I'm gonna show you. Ordinarily, I would drain the pasta and put it inside there and then stir it all up. In the interest of time, I'm just going to get a little bowl, put some of that in. Sorry for the noise. And show you what it looks like as a dish. You can also use those tomatoes in a side dish. You don't have to use it with pasta. You can put these tomatoes in a little casserole, put in a little bit of, can you get a look at this, how this looks? I'm going to bring it over to you. See, it's a little bit saucy because you release the liquid from the tomatoes, but it's not wet. It's not like a fresh sauce. It's just a little bit saucy, and I would put this in there just like that. Or you could put your pasta in, which I normally would do. I put my pasta in and mix it up in there. But I just want to show you because I think this is easier for you to see. I'm just going to get a little taste of it. The tomatoes and the seasoning. And tell you that it's delicious because I know it's going to be. Let's see. It's so good. It tastes so fresh. Can you see that okay? If you put the pasta in, it coats with the oil a little bit more, and that makes it nice. When you put it on a platter, you can bring it out and serve it to your guests. And that's today's recipe. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't really have a title for this one. I guess I would call it sugar bomb sauce, but I hope you enjoy it and you'll join me on the next one. I'll see you next time.